Hello, how are you doing? My name is Otto and welcome to the channel. I've been using the new GoPro Hero 10 for the last month, and this is not sponsored, but I have to admit that for the most part, I am quite impressed. I had the GoPro 5 for the 6 a few years ago, but I didn't like it, and after a couple of trips, I just had to sell it. Last year, I was very excited about the 9, but then people were talking about so many issues that I chose to buy the DJI Pocket 2 instead. The GoPro is a very good choice if you're looking for a camera, and I want to compare it with the DJI Pocket 2. And stick around because I also want to show you how to save $100 when you buy this. The DJI Pocket 2 is this small device that has a small camera on a 3-axis gimbal. The gimbal helps the camera to stay stable and it does a great job. Otherwise, your video might look like this. On the handle, we have a joystick to control the gimbal or to zoom in and zoom out. We also have a record button and a few other buttons to change a few settings. The Pocket 2 has a 1-inch touchscreen which is very responsive, but the only downside here is the small size. The GoPro 10 is also a small device with just a couple of physical buttons. It has a bigger 2.27 inches touchscreen, which feels amazing, and here you can control most of the settings for the camera. The GoPro 10 also has a 1.4 inches color front-facing display. The frame rate has been improved from the last generation, and this is useful for vlogging, to use as a YouTube studio camera, or just to frame yourself when you're filming or taking selfie pictures. The GoPro 10 has a new processor and they claim that it has double the power from the previous generation. And I can tell you that everything feels very snappy. This is supposed to be an action camera, but this can do so much more than that. You still get super wide views that you would expect from this kind of camera, but users like myself who are not a big fan of the distortion that it produces can change to different camera perspectives. Both cameras can shoot regular videos, time-lapses, and hyperlapses. We can also take JPEG or RAW pictures with them, and the Pocket 2 can also take panorama shots. The GoPro can be used as a webcam on your computer, and you can even live stream outdoors using the app on your smartphone. The Pocket 2 cannot be used as a webcam. Both devices can connect to your smartphone, and there you can change the settings of each camera, and you can also use the smartphone as a big monitor. You can use an Android device or the iPhone and they will work just fine. In terms of weight and size, the Pocket 2 has a small advantage. It has a weight of 117 grams, while the GoPro has a weight of 153 grams. The Pocket 2 inside the case can fit in your pocket and you're barely going to feel that it's there, and most of the time, people won't even notice that I'm filming unless I get really close. The GoPro 10 can also fit in your pocket, but without a case, I don't think that's a good idea. It also seems to attract more attention when I'm using it, but still quite discreet, especially if you turn off the screen and the recording light on the front of the camera. Battery life on the GoPro is about 120 minutes when shooting at 4K, and you're going to get about the same amount of battery life on the Pocket 2, but shooting at higher frame rates will give you less battery life on both devices. The downside of the Pocket 2 is that the battery is not replaceable. For the GoPro, you can buy spare batteries. It uses the same ones as the Hero 9 and the retail price is around $20, which I do believe it's a great deal. The good news is that both cameras can run with something like a power bank when you're using them. Charging the Pocket 2 is quite easy. And to do so with the GoPro, you need to open this door, which is really tight to open and close, and doing this every night is not really fun. But I get it. The reason of having this tight door is because everything on the GoPro is sealed, and it is waterproof up to 10 meters. And the Pocket 2 is not waterproof. The Pocket 2 and the GoPro have very good internal microphones, so let's hear an indoor test. How is everyone doing? This is a microphone test using the DJI Pocket 2. How is everyone doing? This is a microphone test using the GoPro Hero 10. You can use external microphones with these two devices. For the Pocket 2, you will need the do-it-all handle, which comes with the Creator Combo, or you can buy it for around $100. For the GoPro, you need to buy a microphone adapter, and the price is about $50. The camera sensor on the DJI Pocket 2 is a little bit bigger than the one on the GoPro 10. A bigger sensor will have better image quality and improve low light performance, and that's what I wanted to test to show you the results. Honestly, the size difference on the sensor is minimal between these two devices, and filming with plenty of light will give you similar results. On both devices, you can record using a flat color profile. I like the new natural color profile that the GoPro offers, but straight out of the camera, the normal color profile of the Pocket 2 seems to have less saturated colors than the GoPro. Low light performance is not great on these devices, and I wouldn't push the ISO too much if you want less noise on your videos. I'm not saying that under low light you can't get decent videos, and depending on the situation and the settings, I was actually surprised on many occasions. Side by side, it seems like the Pocket 2 will have better results than the GoPro 10. Looking at details like this sign is probably proof of what I'm saying. Shooting videos with the GoPro 10 in low light situations has a potential problem with the stabilization, but more on that later. With the Pocket 2, you can activate active tracking, and it comes very handy in many situations, for example when shooting B-roll. But more useful is the fact that you can put down the camera, and with active track, the camera will just follow you around. And that is something that you don't get on a camera like this. Let's talk about video resolution. The Pocket 2 can shoot at 4K up to 60 frames per second. If you select the slow motion, it will shoot at 1080p at 100 or 200 frames per second. The new GoPro 10 can shoot at 5.3K up to 60 frames per second, 4K up to 120 frames per second, and 2.7K up to 240 frames per second. These are impressive numbers for such a tiny device. I was not blown away by the 5.3K as I could barely see a clear difference, but shooting at 4K at 60 or 120 frames per second looks amazing. The GoPro has what they call Hyper Smooth 4.0, which is an electronic stabilization. It can be set to off, which will look like this. Then you can set it to high, and with boost, you get the strongest stabilization at the expense of a tighter crop factor. Combining Hyper Smooth with Horizon Level is probably the best combination. Horizon Level will try to keep your video straight even if you're tilting the camera to the left or the right, and you will almost feel like you're using a camera on a gimbal. In my opinion, the stabilization is very good, but sometimes, especially when I used it when there was not enough light, the electronic stabilization would have this small vibration glitch effect. This doesn't happen all the time, but I get the feeling that Hyper Smooth relies on having higher shutter speeds. Anyway, the Pocket 2 has a mechanical gimbal that is not affected by the shutter speed or anything like that, and I feel that it is very reliable and it does a great job making your videos more stable. You can use ND filters on the Pocket 2, and I have been using the brand Freewell for all my cameras, including all of my DJI drones. They are high quality and they're not going to break your bank. For the GoPro 10, I also use this set from Freewell with very good results, but you need to know that these are not waterproof, and if you want to follow the 180-degree rule, you need to consider what I said about Hyper Smooth and the slower shutter speeds a minute ago. The basic version of the Pocket 2 is $350. The GoPro Hero 10 has a retail price of $500, but I was able to get this for $400. The way to do it is to buy it directly from the GoPro website, where they have this offer where you only pay $350 for the camera, but you need to buy a 1-year subscription to their service for $50, which actually gives you plenty of extras. You can cancel anytime you want, there are no commitments, and you get to keep your camera for $400. The links to all the products are going to be on the description below so you can check them out. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.